Radio.
Great, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to She Radio, an unrefined podcast for the everyman. It's just me alongside Wasted tonight. Hello, Wasted.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. Brasky is on assignment this week, so we figured we'd get a show in. 'Cause I saw an interesting article on our resident's favorite band here, Guns N' Roses. They were breaking down the Not in This Lifetime tour because it was the 10. Can you believe it, Wasted? It's been 10 years that Guns N' Roses have been reunited. 10 years as of April 1st.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just feels like yesterday.
Yeah, and like they did that. They announced a show at the Troubadour, and everyone was like, "No way, that's not going to happen." And I remember going and watching the lineups on YouTube and stuff, and all these people trying to get into the show, and then they did the show, and it was like it's not a real reunion. I mean, we're going to harp on this a little bit because it's still a salty point for me that Adler and Izzy were never really included, and to a lesser extent Gilby and Sorum. But however, the tour thus far has been a massive success. They have generated over $1 billion for that 10 years of touring. Those numbers are absolutely mind blowing. And let's see who was in the band when they started off. It was the three: Axl, it was Slash, and it was Duff. And we had Richard Fortus on guitar, and we had Frank Farrar on drums, and Melissa Reese on drums. And that lineup stayed intact pretty much almost right to the end when Frank Farrar was let go or he quit or however it went down. I don't know. Just last year, right? And they brought in Duff's buddy, Isaac Carpenter, to play drums, who's filled in quite nicely, I might add. But for the most part, the band stayed intact. And of course, now they're touring. Melissa is not on tour anymore. So, I can't forget Dizzy. You know, everybody always forgets Dizzy. He's there too. So, everybody forgets Dizzy.
Just playing the bongos there.
This tour almost didn't happen, Wasted. There was an incident with Axl. He broke his foot. What can you tell us about that, Wasted?
I think it was at the Troubadour show, and he said something like it's when you do things that you haven't done in like 30 years or something. That's when you break your foot. Yeah, there's the fifth metatarsal on his foot, I think. I mean, I think he on the Use Your Illusion tour he hurt his foot as well, and he had that sort of leg brace thing on, which he carried on doing shows. But this time, he got isn't it Dave Grohl donated his like throne so Axl could do the tour, but Axl started the tour. It's crazy, after whatever years, 30 years or something before it actually happened, and all the build up and everything, and then suddenly he's the first few shows, the real shows that he played, he's singing on in a throne with his leg up, like he's in hospital or something.
It was pretty crazy to see that. Like, yeah. Carry on. Sorry.
And he sang pretty well, those early shows. And also I remember he had like, it seemed like he'd had some kind of work done, or he'd shaved the mustache, and it looked like Axl from the Use Your Illusion era, is like the smooth face, and he was wearing the Use Your Illusion kind of skeleton suit. So there was a lot of props from the Use Your Illusion. So it really felt like they were bringing back the Use Your Illusion tour, just with Gilby being replaced by Fortus and a different drummer. Yeah. That's what I remember. And then they did add a few new songs that you wouldn't really normally getting without Slash, like Coma. But it did feel a bit like hybrid Guns, like a mixture of the old lineup and the old and the new and the Chinese Democracy era. And the set list didn't change that much. Like Slash was still playing like Chinese Democracy better and This I Love.
And Sorry. And didn't they play Sorry a few times?
And yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, they did.
Of course.
Yeah, if we don't want to jump too far forward into the set list, because
Not yet. Well, as of April 1st. So all the data that we're going to be talking about goes to April 1st. That's the 20-year anniversary of the first show of the Not in This Lifetime reunion, right? So since then, more than 340 concerts have been played. That's a massive number of shows over 10-year period, and that accounts for almost 1/3 of their total performances since forming over 4 years ago. That doesn't include the new dates that started after April 1st. So, like I mentioned, it was over $1 billion. It was actually 965 million that they've generated over the past decade of touring. Like that's a massive number. That's over 9 million ticket sales since 2016. So 9 million ticket sales equating to $965 million. 2016 was obviously the biggest and the most lucrative of that time period, where they amassed $584 million in between 2016 and 2019. That's insane, Wasted. That's an insane amount of money. It's no wonder Slash got divorced right before this tour started, because he doesn't have to give Perla any of that money, right? Like everything was settled before this tour started, which is crazy.
yeah, he still has to pay child support, but it's like a reasonable amount for rock stars. It's like $100,000 or something. But he paid her a lump sum of like 6 million at the beginning. But then anything after the divorce, which is probably common practice, is just his. So he's got all that money.
That's what I understand.
But the thing that I'm thinking about wondering is like, how much you say it was like $1 billion, and they played like 340 concerts. It's 340. That seems like not that many for 10 years. So how much is that per show if you divide it? I'm not that good at maths, but
So they sold
is it you
9 million ticket sales.
oh,
The
9
band
million
grossed
tickets.
9 million ticket sales since 2016, amassing $965 million in revenue. Like that's $1 billion they just generated for Guns N' Roses, for half of Guns N' Roses.
So they made 900 million.
Yeah, they made $900 million. Crazy.
Okay, and then divide that by 340, right? So divide 900 million by 340, number of concerts. So that's what, 2.6 million a show.
Wow. That we mentioned on a show not too long ago that back in the day, Guns N' Roses were demanding $2 million a show, if I'm not mistaken, during the Use Your Illusion era. And
Yeah,
what did this equate to per show for them?
2.6 million.
So
If you average
they're
it,
still demanding. That's
it's still
crazy, man.
But they used to get big. They used to get a lot in the back in the day. But even during the Chinese democracy era, they would get the tour promoter was saying that they only got $750,000 a show.
Only.
So yeah, during that riot tour, when everybody was rioting, they lost 11. Remember, they lost $11 million because they lost these shows that were all going to be $750,000 per show, which seemed like a lot, but actually back in the day, they probably made more. And probably some shows like Rock in Rio and things, they probably make more than that.
I would imagine they did. I would imagine. Like they were headlining in Rio, weren't they?
Yeah, but I mean they're always headlining. But when you're doing the reunion, that must have been huge.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They could have got 5 million for that.
That's nuts, man.
And
Just
and they
like
do it every year.
and they do it every year. They're just padding their bank accounts at this point. And hey, people are still going to see them. I know the show in my area is selling fairly very well, and I know that other shows that are coming up are selling fairly well too. So, they're still. And I'm going to see them at an outdoor arena. The stadium I'm seeing them seats like 65,000 people. So, and it's going to be close to sold out.
Yeah.
So,
I mean they're keeping it up.
yeah.
Like there was some sort of feeling that maybe they were like flagging, but they've sort of come back with a new. Looking from the videos, they've got new videos, they've got new visuals, and they've got a kind of new set list a little bit. They used to go like 7 songs, of fast, like more aggressive rock songs early on,
Right.
but now it seems like they're going to like 11 songs before they play Yesterdays or something like that.
Right.
So, and the set looks very streamlined in the first half. and then it goes into all the sort of classic ballads and stuff towards the end.
Right.
It almost looks like a best of now.
Well, that's what.
I'm not sure if they played Coma yet, but
Yeah, that's what the fans want, though, right? They want the best of. They want to hear the popular songs. They don't want to hear the deep cuts, right? The deep cuts are fans for you and I, not the average fan that goes. They want to hear the songs they hear on the radio, right? And they want to hear them played the way that they sound on the radio. Thing, because this is a nice segue into another number from the concert. They've released 6 new songs since the reunion started, so we haven't got a full album yet, but we've got 6 songs, and all of them are reworked Chinese Democracy era songs. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Hard School might date back to somewhere in the Illusion or
yeah, 96. Yeah.
Okay, 96. So it is a Chinese Democracy. Okay, so we got 6 new songs. We got Absurd and Hard School. Then we got Perhaps and The General. And then, of course, we just got Nothing and Atlas, right?
Yeah.
Which I just got on vinyl. We'll talk about that in another show. But yeah, I just picked that up. So we got 6 new songs. What's your favorite out of them? There's one that I really, really, really like.
Probably, well, for me, it's probably The General, just because I'm interested in that more experimental side of the, Chinese Democracy was, always like hyped up, Buckethead's there. There's all, they're doing all this experimentation. But when the album came out, it was pretty much kind of rock parameters, nothing too crazy. So I was very interested to hear The General and Monsters and things like that. I think that's like the sort of peak of their sort of creative output there. But the way I look at it is that Hard School, Nothing, and Perhaps are really the kind of singles that are really for the more sort of old school Guns N' Roses fans. So it kind of works in that way. Whereas Absurd and The General are kind of weird Axl Rose experiments.
Absolutely.
And Atlas is it's a great track, but it seems more like something from the Use Illusions. Like I can imagine like driving like a convertible car in the mid '90s to the Atlas around the hills of, just reminds me of like a sort of Pearl Jam era kind of '90s vibe. But it's quite anthemic, but it's not quite as. I mean, Nothing is the Don't Cry kind of big. It would have been huge even in the '90s, wouldn't it? And Nothing is just a classic ballad with Slash. Like even doing it live now, he's just like leaning back into that solo.
Yeah.
I think they also just did. Like it seems like the most Guns N' Roses because they were just given that little vocal clip by. It seems like if they just worked off that and it wasn't something else knocked up, they basically created that Nothing out of nothing. If you know what I mean? Just the vocal thing. I don't know if there was a demo, but the demo was pretty, simple. Slash really worked it up out of nothing.
Oh my God. Like it's hands down easily my favorite of the 6 new songs. And like I really like it. I think it's a classic Guns N' Roses song. It's got classic Guns N' Roses sound, and that Slash guitar solo is out of this world. Just amazing. I really enjoyed that song. So you were gonna talk about the set list a bit there, Wasted?
Yeah, just that it's changed. They've changed it a little bit. Oh, you mean throughout the years? Yeah, they started off from the early shows of the reunion. They added certain songs that they weren't doing before, like Coma, because Slash wanted to do Coma, and it was kind of like always seen as a song that Axl couldn't do because the rant at the end, and it's just like too difficult for his voice. But they did it, and everybody seemed to really like it. And then they actually, throughout the tour, they did add quite a lot of deep cuts. Like they were adding like Locomotive. In the end they added Pretty Tied Up. Dead. I think they played Dead Horse for they brought back Dead Horse throughout those tours. Yeah, I don't know if they played Shotgun Blues. I can't remember. No, and usually, they did add My Michelle. They played My Michelle and Out to Get Me when Adler guest spotted. So sometimes they were bringing back that. So in the end, it's almost impossible on the reunion tour to do all the songs that everybody wants to hear from just those 2 or 3 albums, the early albums. It's really hard to fit them all on. And then they added more towards the end of the last tour. The last tour they added Bad Obsession, didn't they? And that was a big success.
They're playing Bad Obsession now.
Yeah, I don't think they played at the last show, but they went from Jungle straight into Live and Let Die, and they didn't do Bad Obsession. And then throughout the tour, they did actually play, like you said, they were playing Sorry. I think they have played Catcher in the Rye and There Was a Time. So there's always been this like compromise.
I believe you're correct.
And at the end of one of the tours, they played Prostitute.
Oh, did they really?
And they also brought back Yesterdays. Yeah, they did play at the end of one of the tours. They played Yesterdays and Prostitute. So Slash has actually played it, and Slash was playing for a long time. They were doing This I Love, but now it seems like they've cut all the Chinese Democracy songs.
Right.
Maybe because and they're just only playing Chinese Democracy, the song. Better and This I Love or Sorry.
Yeah, Better was always terrible though. Better is a terrible song live. This I Love is forgetful, is like that's a bathroom break.
Chinese Democracy, Sorry.
What was the other
Sorry,
one?
There Was a Time, Catcher in the Rye.
Really
yeah, Sorry's they dropped that in.
Anyway, Wasted. That was a good little chat we had today. I'm glad we came on. Brasky will be back next time. I just wanted to do this quick show, get this one done. Hang tight, everyone. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Wasted, before I take it out?
Not really. Just go see the new tour.
Yeah, go see the new tour. I'm going, so I'm pretty excited. So we'll see how it goes. I'm sure we'll have a show about it. But thanks for listening, everybody. Look for us on YouTube. That's our main channel. Hit like and subscribe and leave a comment. We'll get back to you. It looks like we've caught up on all the comments. So we're looking for some more. Leave a comment, hit like and subscribe, tell your friends. Look for us on Rumble, look for us on Spotify, and from everywhere else you get your Spotify. Ladies and gentlemen, Guns N' Roses.
Adios.
Stop!